Social media is constantly evolving. There are new trends emerging daily on all different platforms, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, to name just a few. One thing that has emerged with social media is the influencer. Influencers can be described as people who have the power to affect the purchasing decisions of others because of their authority and relationship with their audience. Influencers can have upwards of thousands of followers on their accounts, and many have turned social media influencing into their full-time job. I spoke to one such influencer about how she got into social media, her online growth, and all things influencer. So today I have Teresa Walsh joining me. Teresa, thanks so much for taking my call.
No problem. Thanks a million for having me.
So how have you gotten to the stage you're at now with your following on Instagram?
To be honest, it's been a long road. I've always kind of had followers. I made my Instagram when I was 12 or something. I'm 21 now. So I remember even when I was 12 or 13, I had like 1,000 followers, and it just kind of grew like bit by bit every year. It's grown a bit faster probably in the last year. But yeah, literally when I was younger, I used to just do all this follow for follow stuff or whatever with people, and that kind of grew it. So yeah, just I'm posting a lot as well. A lot of my posts are kind of fashion related and stuff. So I follow a lot of accounts like that, and it's more likely they'll follow you back and stuff.
So is your following based mainly around Instagram, or would it translate across different platforms?
Yeah, it would be mostly Instagram. I do obviously have other forms of social media like Twitter and TikTok and stuff, but yeah, no, it's definitely mostly Instagram. I only have like a few hundred on Twitter or TikTok. But on TikTok, I find it's really easy to gain a following or gain popularity, um, because it's so new and it's like trendy and everyone's using it. Like I put up a TikTok and it just randomly, like I have like no followers. Like I think I had around 70 followers just for people I knew on it, and it got like 130,000 views, like completely randomly. I was a bit shocked. So yeah, I think if I tried with it, I probably could build a following on TikTok, but I'm kind of more focused on Instagram.
What is your typical day like as an Instagram influencer?
Um, well, full time I am like a student, so I can't kind of dedicate every day to it, but I'd have days in the week, like Friday or Saturday, where I would basically dedicate most of the day to getting content and stuff. Because obviously, unless you're a big influencer, like it's not going to be your full-time job. Like most influencers, smaller influencers like me would have either college work or they'd have a job of their own. So, um, for actual like what I would do for it, I would get ready. I would plan out like if I was taking photos of different outfits or for certain brands or whatever, I would plan out kind of the day before what outfits am I going to wear. And especially now with it getting dark so early, kind of you have to be up and early, like up and ready early before it gets dark if you want to take photos outside and stuff. So it does take a little bit of planning. And obviously just like taking photos. I know it sounds so kind of like superficial or whatever, but yeah, and it's just kind of making sure you're staying consistent on your story and like interacting with followers, doing polls and stuff like that is helpful for that.
And do you think there is like a negative kind of air around influencers from, I suppose you could say, normal people, in the sense that I think maybe people might have the thought in their head that, it's not a proper job, there's, no work actually goes into it, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people do have that kind of thing in their head about it. And to be honest, like there is a lot of work that goes into it, especially people who are doing YouTube and stuff on top of Instagram. It would be a full-time job if that's what they want. Um, there's a lot of editing of photos and videos, and there's a lot of emailing and stuff that goes on behind the scenes of different brands and like reaching out to different people. Like people might think, oh, it's so easy, like brands just get in contact with you and send out free stuff for you to promote, but it's not really like that unless you have hundreds of thousands of followers. Like if you want to collab with brands, like if you're like me, you have to do all the work. You have to kind of email loads of different people, and nine times out of ten, they're going to say no. Do you know what I mean? And it's a lot of work that goes into it. Do you know what I mean? That people don't realize. And then obviously people will have like a perception of you anyway. I've gotten people like say to me, "Oh, I thought you were going to be so stuck up before I met you, and you're actually nice." Like, but I don't know.
Yeah. And like overall, would you say your experience online in this way has been a positive one or a negative one?
Overall, like I would say positive, but it's not positive all the time. Like, when I first started kind of properly talking on my stories and stuff, which it wasn't even that long ago, it was earlier in the year. When I first started doing it, like most people were lovely, don't get me wrong, but there was some kind of fake account sending me like really nasty stuff when I first started to like put myself out there more. And it discouraged me a lot. Like I deactivated my whole account for about 2 weeks and I was like, oh, I'm never doing it again. I'm never going back on Instagram. People are so mean, blah blah blah. Um, but then I don't know, you just have to kind of focus on, the people who are supporting you. And there's in general so many more people who are lovely about it than people being mean. And it's just people hiding behind fake accounts and stuff. Like, yeah, it can be hard to not let it get to you at the same time, but if you really want to do it, you kind of have to have thick skin.
Yeah, so do you feel like there's a nice community online amongst influencers?
Personally, yeah, kind of. Not gonna lie, like I don't know, you see a lot of people like even on Twitter and stuff giving out that, you know, certain influencers and people have no problem naming and shaming people. They'll name and shame all these influencers who maybe don't share certain things that are going on. Now, I don't feel really obliged to share absolutely everything that's going on, but if it's something big like Black Lives Matter earlier in the year, yeah, I felt like I should share that because I have the, audience, that should like want to know about stuff like that. And I'm able to, post swipe up links on my story so people can sign petitions easier and stuff like that. And I had people that knew me just saying, "Can you share such and such a petition on your story?" Just because I have the swipe up feature on my story. So like it is good to be able to help with stuff like that. And if it's something big, yeah, I kind of would feel like I should share it, but not for every little thing. But if it's something really important and something really big that a lot of people should know about, then yeah.
So, do you feel like you have an obligation online to kind of highlight social issues that are happening in the moment?
Well, for me, yeah, like any other kind of influencers that I've ever talked to have always been so lovely, so supportive. Obviously everyone has their own experiences and you'll hear maybe bigger influencers who live like in hubs for it, like LA or somewhere like that, say that it can be really toxic and people fall into these like cliques and it's nearly like a hierarchy. But for me, I've never like felt like that. Probably just because I'm a smaller influencer and the community itself in Ireland isn't that big anyway. So anyone that I've talked to has been really lovely. But obviously I get that it can be toxic for some people. Like well I've always had a good experience to be honest.
Do you think, in that sense, it's too easy nearly for people to create an entirely different persona online to what they're actually like in real life?
Oh yeah, like it is very easy for people to create like a fake life online. Especially, influencers will try to create this fantasy life kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, like my life seems great on Instagram too. And nobody's life is perfect, but um yeah, like if you have more followers or if you put yourself out there more, people kind of think that they're entitled to know more about you, or if they do know something about you, they feel the need to like spread it to everyone.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today, Teresa.
Oh, no problem. It was good to talk about it. Thanks for having me.